You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Today's guest is Ng Pack, President and CEO of Milici Valenti Ng Pack. Before Milici and Valenti had got you involved in these fundraisers and these organizations, 5 to 6 years while you were with the company you mentioned, did you have community in mind, giving back and being involved in these organizations before that?
Not really. As a young kid growing up and getting into the business, at first all you're concerned about is paycheck to paycheck, paying the rent and taking care of certain things, and your social life. After a while, you get past and you say, you know what, I think I belong here. You start thinking, you know what, I like living here. And you know what, I think I can make a difference here because there's certain elements of need in this community, whether it's homelessness or kids or whatever. And you start understanding that, in the advertising business, you do have an opportunity. Even though you're not hugely wealthy, there's certain things you can do, volunteering time and effort in your certain category of advertising that can make a difference for clients.
Before we had this discussion over here, we were chatting kind of in the back. I saw you were actually fundraising for the March of Dimes back there. And then you just recently came back from a trip from Hong Kong. Why, after all these years, are you still doing that type of work? Why are you still spending your time doing that when your business and your family needs are so strong as well?
Well, I'm pretty lucky because I'm able to combine a lot of these things. I do a lot of traveling now because of several industry things, but I also do a lot of travel now because of certain of our clients are on the same trips that we go to. And I can actually do two things at the same time, simultaneously. They're at the same conferences I am, whether it's in Japan or whatever, and I go to the same conferences and we spend 3-4 days together, and we'll tag on a couple of days and maybe do a little exploration and see if any business opportunities in Hong Kong or Bangkok or wherever else. And that's a great time to also explore, discover, and also bond. So that I can do with a few extra days that's already required. With the fundraising thing, just coming back, it's a couple of phone calls. And these days, phone calls can make from anywhere. And there's a couple of committee meetings here and there. But I really am fortunate because a lot of things I can combine. Sometimes on a business trip, I'll take the family along. That's the best of all worlds. It's a great opportunity for me to do new things with my family, with the kids, and have them maybe get exposed to what I do too. So it doesn't happen all the time, but several times a year it is a great opportunity for me.
Did you see a kickstart, or were you able to get ahead more in your career when you started getting involved in these organizations hands-on?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things is to get involved. When you get involved in these community organizations, you meet people who are leaders in the community already, and they're there for a reason. They want to lead, they care about the community, and if I get into this organization or some cause that I meet somebody, because we have shared interest, a shared passion, that sharing of interest and passion becomes a friendship and a bond. And there's nothing more powerful than that when you're working together to do something good.
You did mention that, when you were growing up and you were younger, you said in your 30s, you were thinking, I'm going to make all the money in the world first and then eventually maybe give back to the community. Do you still have that thought, or could you help encourage the younger to get involved now while they are trying to grow up the ladder?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, I never expected to make all the money in the world. My goals weren't that high. Mine was to just be comfortable. The fact is, the priority was really enjoying a certain type of life where you could be, I guess at the beginning, back in my 20s when I first came over, it was, again, paycheck to paycheck and
varying levels of comfort, yes. Though, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's why I call it all the money in the world.
Oh, exactly. All the money that we need anyway. But, from that, as you get into your career, you start understanding that the connections, it's not how smart you are. It's about how you can do the right things and connect with the right people at the right time. Now, the people that I've met along the way at the same level and at higher levels have been enormously important to my career. Now, the people that were at much higher level than I was when I started up, like Walter Dodds, for example, it's unbelievable what he's done for my career in terms of shepherded, godfathered, whatever, mentored, in terms of not business, but in terms of life, in terms of doing the right things. You see what he's done in the community. You just look at, okay, you know what? He's made all the right connections. He does the right things for the right reasons. Now, if I do the right things, the peer group I started off with, we grew up together. Now I can get on the phone and call, somebody else, whether it's Warren, Haruki, or whoever, and ask to see if they can help me do something. Can I help them do something? Now, whether it's social or community or business, it's all one now. It's the same phone call. The mentors are still there. As you mentioned, we're transitioning now, but this next generation has to happen too. But with the younger folks, I would encourage them absolutely from day one. Just start networking and doing something you care about. It doesn't have to be doing something just for the heck of doing something for business purposes. Don't do that. Don't do something just because I can make a sale. That's not a good reason to do it. Get involved because you care about something. And if you care about something and somebody else cares about something, it's a much stronger connection than trying to make a sale for somebody and, let me try to get beside that person to make a sale.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.